Welcome to Lake Trafford. For the next hour, you will explore the different types of wildlife in this lake. I will be your guide, Captain Allen. I will bring you a closer look at some of Southwest Florida's animal life in the lake. The best way to see this up close is to use an airboat. Airboats are very simple in design. It's a flat-bottomed boat with an engine that powers propellers mounted on the top surface at the rear of the boat. Air passing through can gain high speeds and has enough power to push through tall, grassy areas. The largest species on the lake are alligators, large birds such as the great American egret and the great blue heron, and protected birds such as the American eagle and the osprey. But first, I'd like to get you acquainted with the lake. So let's get started. Who is Lake Trafford named for? In the 1800s, the government sent a group of surveyors into Southwest Florida, what is now known as Bonita Springs. It was a surveyor's campsite during their stay. They also surveyed the old canal in Naples, as well as the Immokalee area. The lake was named for the main surveyor, whose last name was Trafford. They estimate Trafford has about 300 alligators above 6 foot and about 3,000 under. This is also one of the few lakes left in the state of Florida where there are no restrictions on the amount of fish you consume out of here. Biologists are here every couple of months checking it. They find no mercury or any other type of pollutants in these fish. The main reason being, we have no immediate farm, dairy, or cattle runoff on the lake itself. Lake Trafford is the largest lake south of Lake Okeechobee, with a surface area of 1,494 acres. It is the headwaters of the Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary to the southwest, which includes the Florida Panther National Wildlife Refuge to the south. The water quality of the lake affects these wetland resources that have been targeted for protection. These wetlands drain into important estuarine systems. Lake Trafford is an independent contributor to the sheet flow. As the only major lake in southwest Florida, Lake Trafford provides a refuge for migrating birds during the dry season. The quality of the lake and the associated watershed affects important wildlife species and offers a sanctuary for balance in southwest Florida's ecosystem. Lake Trafford is a rain-fed lake. It has no lake control structures and is an aquifer. Aquatic vegetation consists of cattail, spatterdock, and fire flags. Fish species present in the lake include largemouth bass, black crappie, bluegill, red ear sunfish, and large brown bullheads. In addition to the fish sought by anglers, the lake is home to abundant reptile, fish, and bird life. A large number of alligators make the lake their home, because of which there is no swimming in the lake. Alligators are reptiles. There are many types of reptiles in this lake, like snakes and turtles. But we're going to take a closer look at the largest in the lake, called the alligator. The most current information indicates that alligators evolved from a common ancestor with dinosaurs that foredates the common ancestor that they share with other reptiles. So even though alligators are classified as reptiles along with lizards, snakes, and turtles, they are actually more closely related to birds, whose ancestors were dinosaurs. The alligator is an amazing reptile, having survived almost unchanged since the time of the dinosaurs. Alligators date back to the Jurassic period, some 230 million years ago. Alligators and their kin are modern dinosaurs, having existed virtually unchanged for the past 65 million years. Having been hunted almost to the brink of extinction, this reptile has made an amazing comeback in recent years, inhabiting almost every body of water in Florida. The alligator is a very important part of our wildlife heritage and plays an extremely important part in Florida's ecosystem. The relationship between man and alligators dates back thousands of years. When the Spaniards first arrived in Florida, they were amazed at this reptile, calling it el lagarto, meaning the lizard. It is from this early Spanish term that we derived the name alligator. The human residents of Florida hunted the alligator for its hide and for its meat, and the teeth of an alligator were believed to be a magical ward against snake bites, as alligators were thought to be immune to the bite of poisonous snakes. The leather was used by natives to make all types of leather items, even musical instruments such as drums. Fact, alligators are not immune to snake poison. However, they do have an extremely tough skin and an armored back protected by bony plates called scutes. It is possible that this protection may prevent a snake's fangs from penetrating the skin. This lake provides many species of birds with a home, some during the winter months, the rest all year long. This is a good indicator why Lake Trafford is important to Southwest Florida. Let's take a look at some of the protected species that are present here on the lake. Bald eagles are enormous birds, the wings wide and long for soaring. On average, females are larger than males. The plumage of the males is same as that as the females. Adults have a dark brown body that contrasts sharply with the white feathers on the head and tail, along with the yellow beak, eyes, and legs. It takes a bald eagle 4 or 5 years to achieve this distinctive coloration. Bald eagles can see 3 or 4 times farther than people, an obvious advantage to a bird that hunts and scavenges. To kill and handle prey, the bald eagles have massive beaks and large talons, and oversized feet equipped with small spikes. They probably hear about as well as humans do, but their sense of taste and smell are poorly developed. Some bald eagles may remain in their breeding habitat year-round. They may migrate between a northern breeding area and a southern wintering area. An annual census of wintering eagles is done in Canada and the United States in mid-January. The bald eagle feeds primarily on fish, aquatic birds, and mammals, which it may take alive or find dead. Much of it is live prey, especially the waterfowl. When its staple foods are not available, a bald eagle will eat almost anything that has food value. These large predators take food however they can, stealing it from other birds and hunting in flight, from a perch, or on the ground, or in shallow water. Individuals may not breed every year. Some mate for life, but if one partner dies or disappears, the other will take a new partner. Usually the pair builds its nest in the tallest tree of a large diameter and defends its surrounding territory against other eagles. On average, 6 foot across and about 10 foot tall, because the occupants add new materials to the basic structure each season. In the center, the female lays 1 to 3 large, dull white eggs, 2 to 4 days apart. During the 35 days of incubation, when the eggs must be kept at the correct temperature and protected from other predators. Egg laying is from mid-November to mid-January in Florida. From the laying of the first egg to the fledgling of the last young commonly takes 18 weeks. One of the adults, most often the female, is on the nest almost all the time. Loss of habitat also affects reproduction. Eagles prefer solitude when breeding. Human disturbances are disruptive, in some cases leading to desertion of the nest. Even if a population is reproducing at a maximum possible rate, it can still become extinct if not enough mature birds survive. Although bald eagles may live for up to 50 years in captivity, they are unlikely to live that long in the wild where they face natural hazards. Ospreys are often confused with bald eagles at first glance when observed from the ground. One distinction between these two birds is how their wings appear in flight. Ospreys fly on wings angled back at the wrist, which gives their flight profile a distinct M shape, and the underside of the eagle's wings are dark, while the underside of the osprey's wings are white with dark wrist patches. Ospreys are sometimes referred to as the fish hawk or the fish eagle, but they are actually a raptor species that is classified in its own group. Ospreys have an average wingspan of 4.5 to 6 feet and are approximately 2 feet in length. They weigh from 3 to 6 pounds, with the females generally being 10% larger than the males. Unlike other raptors, the osprey has 4 equal toes. The outer one is reversible, enabling the bird to seize its prey with 2 toes pointing forwards and 2 pointing backwards. A long, sharp, curved claw on each toe and short rigid spikes known as spicules on the sole of each foot give the bird a firm grip on its slippery prey. Ospreys can live 15 to 20 years. They usually hunt in the early morning or late afternoon, perhaps because the light is best for sighting underwater prey. They prefer to focus on calm, shallow waters from trees or structures. Ospreys prey and survive almost exclusively on fish. They reach sexual maturity when they are 3 to 4 years old, and at this time they will mate and nest. The osprey's nest is large and permanent, and placed with an unobstructed 360-degree view that is near the water. Their nests are bulky and can be up to 6 feet in diameter. Ospreys are defensive of their nest, and the same mated pair may return to and repair the same nest year after year. Generally, the osprey defends its territory against other large birds. The osprey frequently takes the precaution of building more than one nest. Nesting females lay an average of 3 buff-colored eggs with dark brown speckles. The male takes little part in incubation and devotes most of his time to fishing. He is the sole provider for the family during the month of incubation and the subsequent month, when the growing chicks demand more than 6 fish per day. Eggs in young birds are not usually preyed upon unless the nest has been disturbed by humans. Osprey chicks are especially exposed to the weather because their brownish down doesn't thicken or change into a warmer second coat as it does in other birds of prey. For this reason, the female remains at the nest to shield her brood from the elements. When danger is near, the female signals to her young, who play dead. For the first few weeks, the female feeds the chicks semi-digested, regurgitated food. Both parents feed the older chicks small bits of fish. They stay near the nest and their parents until October. Young first fly at 44 to 59 days and are dependent on their parents for 6 weeks or more. For its size, the bird has a small voice, but if it is displaying or is feeling threatened, its cry will carry a far distance. The anhinga is the very first of all freshwater divers. With the quickness of thought, it disappears beneath the surface, that it so rarely leaves a ripple on the water. And when your eyes seek around for the bird, you are astonished to find it may be yards in the distance. When it first observes an enemy, it immediately sinks its body deeper, until at last it swims off with the head and neck only above the surface, somewhat resembling the head and part of the body of a snake. It is in fact from this circumstance that the anhinga has received the name of snakebird. The snakebird is a constant resident of Florida.